Have you ever felt like life just keeps hitting you again and again, no matter how hard you try? You work tirelessly, you pour your heart and soul into something, and then, without warning, it all falls apart. A lost job, a breakup, a betrayal, or maybe just that crushing sense of I'm not enough, no matter what you do. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. You can't control what happens to you. You can't control when life punches you in the face, but you can control how you stand back up. In 300 BC, a wealthy merchant named Zeno lost everything when his ship sank. He could have collapsed, given up, and disappeared into history. Instead, he became the founder of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches you how to become emotionally undefeatable no matter what life throws at you. In this video, we're going to break down how Stoicism can transform your mindset, your resilience, and your life. By the end, you'll understand why the most powerful thing you can do isn't to avoid pain, but to face it head-on and come out stronger. Stick around. This might just change the way you live. Part 1. The core of Stoicism. What it really means. Alright, welcome to Part 1. Let's dive into what Stoicism really is. Because honestly, most people today have the wrong idea. When you hear the word Stoic, what comes to mind? Probably someone cold, emotionless, maybe even a little robotic, right? Someone who doesn't laugh, doesn't cry, just stands there unmoved. But here's the twist. That's not what Stoicism was meant to be. Let me take you back to 300 BC. There's this wealthy trader named Zeno sailing with a ship full of expensive cargo. And then, disaster. His ship sinks. All his goods, his fortune, his hard work, gone, just like that. Now pause for a second. Imagine you're Zeno. Would you scream? Would you fall into despair? Would you blame the gods, the sea, the universe? Most of us would, right? Because that's human nature. We get angry, we grieve, we panic when we lose something we've worked hard for. But here's where Zeno's story takes a turn. Instead of collapsing, he started reflecting. He began reading the works of Socrates and other great thinkers. He asked himself, what can I actually control in this life? The answer became the foundation of Stoicism. The heart of Stoicism is simple but powerful. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Let me say that again because it's everything. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Think about your own life right now. Did you get passed over for a promotion? Did someone break your heart? Did you fail at something you really wanted? It hurts, I know. But here's the Stoic truth. No matter how much you scream at the world, you can't change what's already happened. What you can change is the meaning you assign to it. For example, let's say you're trying to build a business online. You post videos, launch products, or start a side hustle, and no one buys, no one watches. You could say, I'm a failure, I'm not cut out for this, and give up. Or you could pause and say, okay, this didn't work. What can I learn from it? How can I improve next time? That's Stoicism in action. Another example, you get stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting, you're fuming, you hit the steering wheel, you curse under your breath. But what's the result? You're still stuck in traffic. What would the Stoics do? They'd take a deep breath, accept that they can't control the cars in front of them, and use that time wisely, maybe rehearsing what they'll say in the meeting or reflecting on the day ahead. See, Stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about mastering them. It's about recognizing that you do have power, not over the world, but over yourself. And this mindset shift is life-changing. Because once you stop fighting reality, once you stop wasting energy on things outside your control, you free up all that mental space to focus on what you can actually do. Here's a modern example. Let's talk about social media. We post a picture, a video, or a project, and we wait, likes, comments, shares. If they don't come, we feel worthless. But think about it. Can you control how the Instagram algorithm works? Can you control if people scroll past your post? No. What you can control is how much effort you put into creating something meaningful, and how much you learn and improve with each try. That's what the Stoics called the dichotomy of control. It's the art of separating what's within your power from what's not, and putting your full focus only on what you can change. So, if you want to start becoming undefeatable, this is the first step. Start asking yourself in every tough moment, what can I control here? Not why is this happening to me? Not why is life so unfair? But what is mine to command? That shift alone can turn every failure into a lesson, every setback into a stepping stone, and every challenge into an opportunity for growth. Welcome to Part 2, Practical Stoic Exercises to Build Mental Strength. Now that we understand the heart of Stoicism, that we can't control what happens, but we control how we respond, let's talk about how to actually build that kind of strength. Because here's the thing, it's easy to talk about staying calm, but when life hits you hard, theory often goes out the window. So how do we train ourselves to become emotionally undefeatable even when things go wrong? The answer: Stoic exercises. Yep, the Stoics didn't just sit around talking about philosophy, they practiced it daily like a workout for the mind. And today I'm going to share a few exercises you can start using right away. Exercise 1. Negative visualization. This one might sound strange at first, but stay with me. The Stoics believed that one way to reduce fear and anxiety was to imagine the worst-case scenario. Why? Because the things we fear most usually live in the shadows of our minds. We don't face them, we just dread them. But when we bring those fears into the light, we often realize they're not as bad as we thought. For example, let's say you're afraid of losing your job. Instead of avoiding that fear, sit down and ask yourself, if I lost my job tomorrow, what would I do? You might realize you could tap into your savings. You could pick up freelance work. You could lean on your network. Suddenly, it's no longer a vague, overwhelming fear. It's a challenge you could handle if it happened. This practice doesn't make you negative, it makes you prepared. Exercise 2. Voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed that choosing discomfort on purpose helps build resilience. Why? Because if you only experience comfort, the smallest hardship can knock you down. Here's how you can practice voluntary discomfort in modern life. Take cold showers. Sleep on the floor for a night. Skip a meal if your health allows. Go a day without your phone. These little acts teach your mind, I can handle more than I think. For example, maybe you've been anxious about money. Try spending a weekend living as cheaply as possible. No coffee runs, no takeout, no unnecessary spending. By proving to yourself that you can live with less, you reduce the fear of scarcity, and you become more confident in your ability to survive tough times. Exercise 3. Focus on what you control. This sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Throughout the day, whenever you feel stressed, pause and ask, what here is within my control? Imagine you're working on a big project and your boss suddenly changes the deadline, piling on more pressure. Your first reaction might be panic or frustration. But stop, what's under your control? You can break the project into smaller tasks, you can ask for help, you can prioritize the most urgent parts. What you can't control, your boss's decision, the company's policies, how your co-workers handle their tasks. By focusing your energy only on the things you can influence, you stop wasting mental bandwidth on things you can't. This alone can drastically reduce your stress levels. Bonus: journaling your Stoic thoughts. At the end of the day, grab a notebook and reflect. What happened today that was outside my control? How did I respond? What can I do better next time? This daily habit helps you strengthen your Stoic muscle, the part of you that stays calm, thoughtful, and resilient. Final thoughts for Part 2. Look, building mental toughness isn't about never feeling pain or stress. It's about training yourself to handle those moments with grace. Think of it like going to the gym. You don't lift weights because you want to suffer. You lift weights to build strength. So, when you need to carry something heavy in real life, you're ready. Stoic exercises are the same. They train your mind so that when life gets heavy, you don't break, you rise. Part 3, the 4 core virtues. Your roadmap to an unshakable life. So far, we've talked about the core idea of Stoicism, controlling your response, not the world, and we've gone over practical exercises to build mental strength. Now, let's explore the 4 core virtues of Stoicism. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're like a roadmap you can follow to live a stronger, better, and more resilient life. Let's break them down one by one with real-life examples you can apply today. Virtue 1. Wisdom. Wisdom, in Stoicism, is the ability to tell the difference between what you can control and what you can't. Remember that. Not everything requires your energy. Let's take an example. Imagine you post a project or a creative work online, maybe a piece of art, a video, or even just an idea. You put in tons of effort, but it doesn't get many likes, comments, or shares. Here's where wisdom comes in. You ask yourself, what part of this is within my control? The answer? The effort you put in. The quality of your work, how you improve over time. What's outside your control? The algorithm, people's attention spans, random chance. Wisdom says, focus only on what's yours to control, let the rest go. Virtue 2. Courage. Courage isn't just about running into burning buildings or standing up to bullies. In Stoicism, courage means persisting when things get hard and resisting what's harmful, even when no one's watching. For example, let's say you're trying to change a bad habit. Maybe cutting back on social media, eating healthier, or staying disciplined with your work. You'll face 2 big forces. The temptation to give up, the discomfort of pushing through. Courage is what helps you say, this is hard, but I'll keep going. A powerful phrase the Stoics loved is persist and resist. Persist in what's good, resist what's harmful. That's real courage. Virtue 3. Temperance, or moderation. Temperance is about balance. Doing enough, not too little, not too much. Think about modern life. We're constantly told to want more. More money, more followers, more success, more stuff. But the Stoics remind us, enough is plenty. For example, you don't need to hustle 20 hours a day to prove your worth. You don't need to scroll endlessly on your phone to feel connected. You don't need to buy things you can't afford just to impress people. Temperance helps you step back and say, what's truly essential for me to live well? Living with less isn't about depriving yourself, it's about freeing yourself from unnecessary weight. Virtue 4. Justice. Justice, for the Stoics, was the most important virtue. Why? Because we don't live alone, we live with others. Justice is about fairness, kindness, and doing good, not because you expect a reward, but because it's the right thing to do. Look at Nelson Mandela. He was in prison for 27 years under a brutal system. When he was released, many expected him to seek revenge. Instead, he called for peace, unity, and rebuilding. That's justice in action. It's using your power to lift others up, not tear them down. In your own life, justice could mean supporting a friend without expecting anything back. Standing up when you see someone being mistreated. Acting with integrity even when no one's watching. Why these virtues matter? Here's the magic of the 4 virtues. They work together. Wisdom helps you know what matters. Courage gives you the strength to act. Temperance keeps you balanced. Justice connects you to the world around you. When you practice these consistently, you become undefeatable. Not because you never fail, but because no failure can break your spirit. You stop measuring yourself by outcomes and start measuring yourself by how you live. Closing part 3. So here's what I want you to do. Pick one virtue today, just one, and focus on it. Ask yourself, how can I apply wisdom right now? Where can I show courage today? What's one area where I need more balance? How can I act justly, even in a small way? Part 4. Applying Stoicism to modern life. Becoming undefeatable. Today. Welcome to part 4, the final part. We've talked about the core idea of Stoicism, we've looked at practical exercises, and we've explored the 4 key virtues. Now let's bring it all home. How do you apply Stoicism to real modern-day challenges? Because let's be honest, it's one thing to talk about philosophy when you're calm and everything's going well, but it's another thing entirely when you're stuck in traffic, when you're anxious about money, or when someone leaves a nasty comment on your work. So let's break it down. Challenge 1. Dealing with uncertainty. We live in uncertain times. Jobs come and go, relationships change, the economy shifts, and sometimes it feels like the ground under your feet is always shaking. Stoicism gives you an incredible tool here, the mindset of acceptance. Remember the shipwreck of Zeno. He didn't ask, "Why me?" He asked, "What now?" Instead of wasting energy trying to predict every twist and turn, practice saying to yourself, "Whatever comes, I'll handle it." For example, maybe you're waiting to hear back from a job interview. Instead of refreshing your email every 10 minutes, focus on what's in your control today. Preparing for other opportunities, sharpening your skills, taking care of your physical and mental health. The uncertainty doesn't disappear, but your anxiety around it can. Challenge 2. Handling criticism and rejection. This one's tough for all of us. You put your heart into something and someone tears it down, maybe a boss, a client, a stranger on the internet. The Stoic approach: first, separate fact from story. Let's say someone criticizes your work. Fact, they gave you feedback. Story: I'm worthless, I'm a failure, I'll never succeed. The fact is neutral, it's just data. The story is what you create. You can choose to see criticism as a personal attack, or you can choose to see it as information that might help you grow. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, reminded himself daily, "If someone can prove me wrong, I'll gladly change." Because the goal isn't to be right, it's to get better. Challenge 3. Managing daily stress. Modern life is fast and noisy. Deadlines, notifications, social media, pressure to keep up. It's easy to feel like you're always behind, always failing. The Stoicism invites you to slow down. Practice moments of pause during the day. When you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, what's the most important thing right now? For example, if you're juggling 5 tasks and panicking, stop. Pick the one task that matters most. Do it with your full attention. Seneca, a famous Stoic, wrote, "You act like mortals in all that you fear and like immortals in all that you desire." In other words, you rush after things as if you'll live forever, but you fear the smallest setback as if you'll die tomorrow. Breathe, focus, be present. Challenge 4. Finding meaning and purpose. Even in hard times, Stoicism teaches us that meaning is always within reach. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychotherapist, was deeply influenced by Stoic ideas. He wrote that even in the worst situations, we can choose to find purpose, whether it's helping someone else, holding on to our values, or creating something meaningful. In your own life, ask, what gives me purpose today? It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe it's showing up for your family. Maybe it's creating something that helps others. Maybe it's simply choosing kindness over anger. Purpose isn't about what happens to you. It's about what you give to the world. Final takeaway for part 4. Here's the beautiful truth. You don't need to control the world to live well. You don't need to avoid pain, rejection, or uncertainty. You just need to master your mind. With Stoicism, you can become undefeatable, not because life stops testing you, but because no test can break you. So as you step away from this video, remember, focus on what you can control. Practice the virtues of wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Use challenges as opportunities to grow. And here we are, the end of this journey together. We've explored the heart of Stoicism, the practical exercises, the timeless virtues, and how to apply all of it to your modern, everyday life. But here's the truth I want you to walk away with. You don't need a perfect life. You don't need everything to go your way. You don't even need to be fearless or flawless. What you need, and what Stoicism helps you build, is the strength to face whatever comes your way with calm, clarity, and purpose. Remember, you are not defined by your failures, your setbacks, or the opinions of others. You are defined by how you rise, how you learn, and how you keep showing up with intention, no matter what. So as you move forward from this video, I invite you to ask yourself, what's one small step I can take today to become a little more resilient, a little more centered, a little more undefeatable? Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I know your time is valuable, and it truly means a lot that you chose to invest it here, working on your growth and your mindset. If you found even one idea helpful, I'd be grateful if you gently hit that like button. It helps this message reach others who might need it. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to keep exploring topics like this together. And if you're up for it, drop a comment below. What's one Stoic practice you're curious to try this week? I read every single one, and I'd love to cheer you on. Until next time, stay strong, stay steady, and remember, you are capable of so much more than you know.